So, this video is titled I Am Not Selling a Book, Rather a Spiritual Awakening. I recently published a spiritual book titled The Keys to a Wizard's Treasure, as you can see right here, and I believe I very much miscommunicated what it is I'm actually doing here and what this book has to offer because I recorded a video um, about the chapters of this book, what it contains, but I never explained the deeper meaning behind these chapters and how that can be an instrument that you can use to transform your life. And so let's get it started. Now, the reason why I wrote this book, the reason why I got into spirituality in the first place, was because physical reality truly lacked some sort of magic that my soul was seeking. Everyday physical reality of wake up, go to work, do your studies, go to university, whatever, eat, sleep, repeat. That for me seemed like a life that was just not worth living. And so my soul had no choice but to awaken to the awe and to the limitless potential which the esoteric universe had to offer. And this is what I was able to condense, sum up within this book. Now, let me explain to you the different chapters which I wrote about and what these chapters contain and how this tool, these different tools which I'm offering, are able to transform your life and allow you to see the world and day to day existence from a much more magical, esoteric perspective, and so that you can escape into this esoteric universe whenever physical reality tends to disappoint you, which it so often does for us all. So, I start off the book with a chapter on numerology because Tesla spoke of the fact that everything in the universe is energy, frequency, and vibration. This must translate to the fact that numbers, the sort of mathematics, the architecture behind physical reality, behind the human body, behind the patterns we see in nature, and even the galaxy, the entire cosmos, these patterns are made up of mathematics. Mathematics consists of numbers, and so that must mean that each number carries its own unique vibrational frequency, and each person carries their own numerological chart. The numbers I spoke about within a person's chart are the birth number, so I'm born on the 5th of July, my birth number is the 5th, and the life path number, that is your birth date summed up together, that is sort of the journey which you have chosen as a soul, that is the journey you are on, that is the universe, what the universe wants you to become, and the challenges you are going to face on your journey in order for you to become what this life path number is. The life path number is your full date of birth summed up and then divided into a single digit. So for me, 5th of July 2004, 5 plus 7, that is July, is 12, plus 2000, that's 14, plus 4 is 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. So I am an 18 over 9 life path. This is sort of the main idea I'm working with. And each number has its own planet attached to it, has a chakra attached to it at times, has some mythology attached to it. At least that's how I was able to connect it all together. And so, if you understand the patterns behind this energy, you are going to be able to read people like a book based on their birth date. If you also combine that with astrology and Chinese astrology, human design, the chakras, which I'm about to speak about, you are really going to get a deep understanding of each person that you come across, even before they speak a word, even not even judging based on how they look. It's the energy that is within the birth date. So that's that. I started the book off with numerology because it goes from 1 to 9. Then I speak about the master numbers 11, 22, and 33. And so once you have this foundation laid out, it is then very easy to go back on it and connect whatever else you have just discovered with the number. So when you then go on to read about the zodiacs, the chakras, mythology, how the zodiacs relate to human anatomy, you can always trace it back to numbers. And it is just a very convenient tool which you can use to bring things to sort of a foundation and give these ideas some grounding, you see? Then, with these numbers, what I also mention is how to use numerology to navigate the daily energies. What does that mean? So, for example, during the month of September, each day is a double day. I'm not going to explain that right now, but for example, as I'm recording it, it is the 7th of September. And the person who is going to be born on this day is also going to be a 7 life path, meaning the energy of the 7 is strongly extremified, it's strongly amplified during the entire month of September. If you understand the energy behind these numbers, the archetype, the mythology, the planets, the zodiacs behind these numbers, then you are able to sort of adapt yourself towards each individual day and really flow with the energy of the cosmos. And this will allow you to navigate your life with a lot less resistance, a lot less, blockages, and you will really be able to be more connected with synchronicity and what, the journey is you are on. I do the same thing for navigating personal year cycles because you are always in a personal year. For example, I recently turned 21, and what that means is that I am in a 3 personal year. 3 is ruled by Jupiter, so I am likely to experience themes of abundance, expansion, wisdom, growth, sort of the themes which Jupiter carries. And Jupiter is one of the luckiest planets in all of astrology, pretty much. So, this is the first step. This is the first chapter. This is the foundation for the spiritual awakening that is yet to come. Then I go very deeply into the chakras. What are chakras? You see, everybody is running around speaking about, oh, this guy has aura, she has so much aura, oh, you just lost aura. The word aura has become so popular with, people my age, but I feel like people don't even know what it is. People don't know the spiritual literature, the true spiritual knowledge, the scientific knowledge behind it, and it's just another word for cool now. But what I'm doing with this chapter is I'm really going deep into what chakras are so that you understand the energy body, because you are not just the physical body, you have an energy body, the electromagnetic field, the aura, the chi, the vital force, the prana, which runs through your body and extends outside of your body, almost a meter outside your body, allows you to interact with other people and allows you to be more sensitive and pick up energy which your physical body would never be able to pick up, whether that is in people or places or certain situations. This is some important stuff to know. This is something super, super crucial to know on your spiritual journey. Then I dive deeply into each individual chakra, starting with the root, going to the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra, the crown chakra. With the third eye chakra, I go deeper than any other chakra because the third eye chakra is tied to the pineal gland. The pineal gland produces dimethyltryptamine or DMT within our own brain. Dimethyltryptamine or DMT is the most powerful psychedelic on planet Earth. And I wrote about 15 pages regarding the symbolism, the sort of, um, you know, esoteric, mystical side of the third eye because I believe that the third eye is responsible for the majority of the spiritual awakening. It is the pineal gland, which once it vibrates high enough, once it somehow opens up through some trigger, that is when you almost get access to some sort of esoteric, spiritual, universal truth and knowledge which you never had access to before. At least that's how it occurred for me. And so that is what I'm selling. A lot of people are capable of writing a novel, some love story, a book. What I'm doing here is I am offering you guys a spiritual awakening just disguised as something material and tangible. And so what ends up happening with this pineal gland, once this third eye opens up, people believe that it is all going to be sunshine and butterflies because, oh my god, spiritual awakening. But when you have a spiritual awakening, you become more in touch with all that is. You become more sensitive to the good things about life, but you cannot become more sensitive to the good without the law of polarity kicking in, and you also becoming equally as sensitive to the bad, to the painful, the dark aspects of life and yourself, because the Hermetic law of polarity is sort of the synchronistic force which retains balance within the universe. Once you become more sensitive, there is a price you have to pay for every increase in consciousness. You cannot become more sensitive to, the cosmos, to all that is, without becoming more sensitive to all that is, which includes the bad, dark aspects of life. That is something that people get very wrong about spirituality or the spiritual awakening. It's not all sunshine and butterflies. It gets very, very dark. If you are familiar with what the dark night of the soul is, before one truly awakens, something I have gone through, and something where I thought I was really gonna die. This is, some powerful stuff. And the information I'm offering you allows you to have a more grounded, a more stable foundation to then, go to the sky, but not fully drift off and still, hold onto the ground. As you see with Buddhist monks, are often depicted in meditation where the pinky finger still touches the ground, which means that they do not fully escape into the astral realm. They don't fully go into spirituality. They never fully let go of the ego, because once you do, at least these Buddhist monks, the way they meditate for months on end, they would literally be able to die, crystallize, and just go into nirvana. Or really just turn into like an orb of energy, which has been documented in places like Tibet, Himalayas. You get the idea. So, then I go on to speak about the strongest and weakest chakra of each zodiac. So, if you are already somewhat familiar with the archetype of the zodiacs, or you are not, this will allow you to connect these two dots together. Now that you have this understanding of chakras, as you can see right here, moving up, once you have this understanding, it is then much easier to connect it to the zodiacs, and it allows all these things to make more sense. Once you study one thing, as numerology or the chakras or the Chinese zodiac or how it relates to human anatomy, once you then start adding layers onto it, start adding wisdom and knowledge onto it, you really that is really when the magic starts to happen. It's not when you study one thing itself. It's when you discover all these things at once and you are able to feel the interconnectedness between it all. And you are able to see the divine architecture behind even something like our physical body once you start relating the human body and human anatomy to the zodiacs, to mythology, to the chakras, to numbers. That is really when the awakening happens, and that is what I'm working with. So that's that. The strongest and weakest chakra of each zodiac will allow you to use the archetype which you have studied of the chakras to then better understand the zodiacs and link it back all together. So then there is a chapter on the zodiacs in connection to human anatomy, where you are going to discover that you are not separate from all that is, that you are part of a divine creation, and that if you look at the law of as above, so below, as within, so without, you are going to realize that your human body and you as a human vessel are the so below, the micro expression of the as above, which is this spiritual intelligent force, this divine architecture, which is seen all across the galaxy, the planets, our solar system, nature, and then us. We are the so below, the material, to the as above, the spiritual. So, getting this knowledge will allow you to really feel and really be able to connect with the idea that you are not separate from all that is, and that you are part of this sort of this orchestra of divinity, this orchestra of intelligence and evolution of the entire cosmos. Because it is going to make sense once you connect it with the zodiacs and the chakras. You are also going to find out which part of your body and which organ of your body, based on your zodiac sign, is most likely to be sensitive or beautiful, or is just going to stand out more. And this can be very fun and entertaining, even if you're not into spirituality at all. So, yeah, you will also be able to know what organ of your body is most sensitive and how you may want to adjust your lifestyle, eating habits, supplements, whatever, in order to match and really take better care of the organs to which your body is most sensitive to, and what that represents for your strength, how it can determine your true power, and the journey you are walking. So, then I have little chapters. That was the main part. Then I have little chapters on visualization where I speak about the teachings of Neville Goddard, a mystic who believed that you are able to transform your life and move closer to your desired outcome, to your sort of vision, your intention, strictly through the power of visualization, especially if you attach emotional energy and emotional charge towards your desired visualization and manifestation. This is a very interesting chapter. I also speak about which numbers are most capable and most sort of likely to manifest things through the power of visualization. I then speak about the whole concept of manifestation, what I believe the majority of people in the spiritual community get wrong regarding what manifestation is, how it truly operates, and how it works in, our physical existence and not just in theory. So I speak about not the fact, I speak about authenticity, the importance of authenticity, how you can truly align with your higher self, with your highest purpose, your truest, most authentic self, and how this alone is going to allow you to manifest your authentic mission, your authentic desires that much quicker because you are going to be matching your authentic journey and not aiming to attract something that does not belong to you, something that you are not destined for. I speak about sexual alchemy, sexual transmutation, and how on the spiritual journey you can use a practice called sexual transmutation to turn sexual energy into creative, intellectual, spiritual, physical strength, and how a lot of yogis have used this practice to reach some form of spiritual awakening. At least, this is something that I have used when writing the book, or very often when I'm in a, you know, spiritual quest, spiritual pursuit. How the redirection of energy can be transmuted. And that is the principle behind alchemy. The principle behind alchemy of turning base metal or lead into gold. Same thing applies here. It is turning this, creative sexual energy, which is capable of creating an entire child, and transmuting that into higher chakras, higher energy centers within your body to then have some form of awakening and get a boost in your creative intellectual pursuits. So, I also mention which numbers in numerology and which zodiacs are most likely to benefit from this practice and how it can really transform people's lives. I, throughout this entire book, include jokes and stories in order to keep these ideas grounded because it's very easy to speak about it strictly from like a spiritual point of view where it's like, that's what people write about, that's what people speak about. But when I add personal stories which relate to these themes, it grounds the idea, it makes it tangible, it makes it understood even for the physical mind or the ego, because that is important. You don't want to fully drift off into the cosmos, into the spiritual, astral realm without having a solid foundation to build it upon and to understand this whole idea from. So, What I just discovered was the fact that I am a spiritual drug dealer offering a product which is going to allow you, like a drug, to escape from the everyday physical existence, which can be very boring and for me was at times, sometimes even, you know, insufferable, and dive headfirst into the awe, the wonder, and limitless potential which the esoteric universe has to offer in all its interconnectedness, even with us. So, I hope you found this video useful, and if you want to check out this book right here, the link is going to be in the bio. It is seriously going to change your life. I would not be able to say it with the confidence with which I am saying it if I did not truly believe it and if I did not truly know what I put into it. Thank you. Have a good day.